Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on Chess.com's Tactics Trainer, and I'm going to do another group of 3 puzzles and simply share my thoughts along the way. So let's dive right in and see what we get. Playing as white in this first one. Okay. Well, what can we do here? My first thought was bishop f6. And if king takes knight, we would have queen b8. Queen d8, and then queen takes queen mate. However, after bishop f6 and king g8, there is now not a good follow-up. Black does not have to take the knight out in reply to bishop f6. So, what about something else? Yeah, and bishop f6, king g8, if we don't have a good follow-up check, we're in trouble. Stuff like bishop f6, king g8, and then queen h6, we're in some serious trouble. With rook a4, queen b3, and our king gets walked down. We're in trouble. So we don't have time for this quiet move, so I'm trying to find a way to give back-to-back checks. How could we do that? For a moment I thought about knight here first. Knight e6. On pawn takes knight, queen f8 is checkmate. Knight here. Queen takes, however. What are we doing there? I don't see it. Okay. What other first moves would there be? There's a knight check, a bishop check. We don't have any good queen checks here. Queen h6, a queen sacrifice isn't working. For a moment I thought, is there some way to stalemate our own king? Like, can we win this position even? We don't know that much. I'm thinking we could, still. But how would we do that? Bit stuck here. Bishop f6, king g8. Am I certain that that leads to nothing? Pretty certain. Yeah. There's also this check if we're not quick enough. Okay. Would knight e6, queen takes knight, queen d4 be a move? Maybe. If the king moves in reply to this knight e6, queen takes knight, queen d4, we are on the rook. So, if king h6, let's just say, bishop g5's mate. If the king goes to the back, our queen from d4 would play to d8, and then play to f8 for mate. So this has my attention. Knight e6, queen takes knight, queen d4. I'm thinking the best reply in that position has to be f6, as otherwise I think black is getting mated. And from there, I guess we could take the rook, but that leaves us open to several checks. Does it not? Knight e6, queen takes knight, queen d4, f6, queen takes rook. We're preparing to move our bishop with a discovered check. But Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is such a cool puzzle. I see the solution now. Oh man. Oh, I really like this one, man. This is cool. Knight e6 is correct. Queen takes knight. We don't play queen d4. We play queen h6. King takes queen. Bishop f8 is mate. Ha! We give up our knight and queen in order to finish off with bishop f8. This is cool. I like this one. So this is a mate puzzle. Knight e6, pawn takes is queen f8. Knight e6, queen takes knight. There's queen h6. If king to one of these two, queen f8 is mate. King takes queen, bishop f8, mate. The bishop alone is enough. Oh, that's clever. I really like this one. Queen h6. That's cool. What a start. I like that puzzle. Maybe I only liked it because I got the solution, but that's a pretty clever sequence of moves. I like that. Tempting to go bishop f6, but it's important to realize that our checks simply run out. We don't have a good follow-up after king g8, bishop f6, king g8. There's not a good check, and we're in trouble. Okay, let's try puzzle 2. Neat sequence. Alright, we're playing as white in this one. And I'm drawn immediately to queen f6. And we can give check, force the king to f8, and when that happens, the pawn is pinned to the king. So what's quite common is to attack the pinned piece. Queen f6, king f8, g6 threatens g7 mate. I think that that's working. I don't see how black really stops that. Notice, unlike puzzle 1, this one here, we can afford a quiet move, like g6, a move that is not giving check, or, making a capture. It's certainly throwing a strong punch. We're threatening a mate in 1, but we can afford to not give a check with one of our moves. Queen f6, king f8, g6. How do you stop g7? Bishop h6. But the bishop is on an unprotected square. And so I believe from that position, queen f6, king f8, g6, bishop h6, I think that we can play pawn takes pawn. We're attacking the rook. And we are attacking the bishop. What would black do there? Queen check, king f8, g6, bishop h6. Pawn takes pawn. How we do material-wise, also? We're down 2 minor pieces, so need to be careful here. Just the win of the bishop is not going to be enough, most likely. But, we could be capturing the bishop with check, so let's see. Queen f6, king f8, g6, bishop h6, defending g7 mate. I believe in that position we can play pawn takes pawn, threatening the rook, threatening the bishop. Suppose queen takes pawn. In that position, after queen takes pawn, queen takes bishop check, couple options from there. If the queen blocks, we would have rook f1, and that distracts the queen, or excuse me, that would distract the king away from defense of the queen. Queen f6, king f8, g6, bishop h6, pawn takes, queen takes, bishop check. Suppose in that position the king moves to e7. Where would our queen go? I believe in that position the queen would go to g5. This is tricky now, because after queen f6 I'm not sure what the follow-up would be there. A lot of pieces have moved. I'm trying to envision that position where these two pawns are no longer around, nor is this bishop, and we have a queen on g5, our queen on g5, and their queen is on f6, and their king is exactly right here, e7. So what would we do there? We could, from g5, make use of c5. I see that, but what I do not see is what we would do after king f7 in that position. I do not see what the good follow-up would be there. Am I missing something on move 2? Is g6 really the idea? Is there some other little trick that I'm missing? Queen f6, king f8, queen h8. The king has to go back. Our queen is hit. I don't see anything from that position other than the queen coming back to f6. We could have a perpetual. I'm thinking there is more here. But we have the perpetual if we really wanted it. Queen f6 to h8. So let me look at something more. Queen f6, king f8, still g6, bishop h6. Should I change up my move 3? What would move 3 even be? Oh. I wonder, is there time for, like, getting our rook to h1 to h8? No, I really don't see that. It'd be different if we didn't have our bishop here. Queen f6, king f8, the rook can come over right away, looking for rook h8 mate. But our bishop is in the way, and also black can be quick to challenge our queen. It's queen e5 stuff. So that seems a bit slow, trying to work with the queen and rook converging on the h8 square, in summary. I'm pretty locked into queen f6 on move 1, so I don't see any other start. And I don't want to move there right away. I want to try and get this one from the initial position. I think that's the correct approach instead of going one move at a time. Move 2, I think it has to be g6. Queen f6, king f8, g6, bishop h6. Is there any trick with g7, bishop takes, and then, by forcing that, takes away a square from the king? I don't see anything happening in this direction, though. Let's see how we get at the king along this diagonal. Queen check, king f8, g6, bishop h6, pawn takes, queen takes pawn. Is there something different there? I think it would be queen takes bishop. Then king here. Man, what would we do there? I guess we could from that position with the king on e7 and the queen on f7. I guess we could play bishop g6, attacking the queen, attacking the rook, and preparing preparing queen h7. So, I mean, it turns out maybe that there's a quiet move several moves in with this variation. Because I don't really see what this queen g5 is doing after black would play queen f6. Queen c5, king f7, it's not like we can take advantage, I don't think at least, of the queen and king being on the same file. With our queen on c5, we don't have this rook f1 stuff. Maybe that is what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Queen f6, king f8, g6, bishop h6, pawn takes pawn, queen takes pawn, queen takes bishop, king e7, bishop g6. I think that's what it might be. The king goes to f8, then we have this idea where we could give a check on the h7 square. The king can't go any here. And if he comes over to the f file, enter now the rook. That must be what it is. I don't know what more to even look at. Let's just run with it. Yeah, that's correct. Is g6 even correct? Yes. Pawn takes pawn? Incorrect. Okay, where did I make my mistake here? Well, I know where I made my mistake, but what move was I missing? This is not correct to take the pawn here. Why not? Alright, let's see what the solution is. Queen check. g6, it's just playing it out now. Rook f1. Oh, man. I wasn't even close. Didn't consider that quiet move, rook f1. Let's go back. Rook f1. That's tricky. Rook f1 at this point. How tempting it is to just take here, no? Okay. That's a tough one. Rook f1, there wouldn't be bishop. Let me just go into the analysis for a moment. This was the puzzle start. Push here, takes. Oh, this is the move, rook f1. And this move would not be working because we could actually mate. I see that much now. We still are threatening this mate. What did the computer do? I believe it went with the rook, and then there was this. That's pretty sharp. Check, and then the queen coming over here, and eventually picking off the black queen. I wonder a little bit about my choice still. Is this really so bad? Maybe they could just do without the rook? Something like this working, but this was my idea. This was what I was calculating. I saw if queen here, there's this, and that's a good way to pick up the queen next. And also, if king here, bishop g6, I thought would have been good. Because it seems like we're getting here next, no? This may still be winning. I don't know. It's kind of tricky. Does black even have to take here is another important question, maybe. Suppose black can just pitch the rook, allow this double check, and then where are we going from here? Well, we could give a check. If the queen blocks, we could give a check here with our rook. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to work this one out. Maybe you guys can help me out with this one in the comment section below. Is this still an okay continuation? Maybe you could help out with this one. Clearly didn't get the very best, but I wonder if this is still a good idea to take the pawn. I don't know. Give me some feedback on that. Be sure to give some insight. I'm sure there will be others that are wanting to have some closure to this one. I sure want some closure. But yeah, give some feedback in the comments to this one, and let's see how we could do with this final puzzle. Got number 2 wrong. Let's see if we could finish 2 out of 3. Okay, I think I can manage this one. Oh, this is pretty cool. I think I know the solution. Yeah, I like this one. This is pretty cool. I like this. Okay. White to move. Pretty sure I know this one. My first thought was to play King D3. That was like the first second I thought King D3, and then I thought, wait a second, we could play Bishop A1, and there's the potential to force this B pawn to move. On Bishop A1, King takes Bishop, we can play King C1 is my first thought. B6 or B5, probably B5, C6, B4, C7, B3. If we get a queen, they play B2 with check. Maybe not. I have to do some calculating, but there might be something connected with this Bishop A1 idea. It might be much simpler than I'm making it out to be. Can we actually just play King D3, allow this pawn to push? We take the pawn, King takes, King C4, King B2, King B5, King B3, King B6, King C4. We take the pawn, they take our pawn. It's just not working. So going like this is not going to work out with King D3, so I think it must be Bishop to A1 on move 1. And I think I need to make an adjustment on move 2. Bishop A1, King takes Bishop. Would it really be King C1, or maybe there's a point with King C2? I think that's what it is. Yeah, there's a big difference between these two. Bishop A1, King takes Bishop. Let me revisit this once more. King C1. The king and pawn can now not move. Black has to try pushing the pawn, and he might as well try to go 2 squares. If we take the pawn, it's stalemate. So the idea here is to me to move like B5 with C6. So let's see. Their king is on A1. Let's try King C1. I'm thinking it's King C2 just by that initial calculation, but let me revisit King C1 first. After the king is on C1, Black plays B5. We must play C6 if we're trying to win, so running this little test, B5, C6. B4, C7. B3, we get a queen. Black gets to push next with check. If we go to C2, they're promoting again with check. That's not working out. That b2 with check is not going to cut it. So the correct second move must be king to c2. Bishop a1, king a1, king c2. How is this different? b5, c6, b4, c7, b3, king takes pawn. We're in check at that point. King now has a move, king b1. Now we promote. Black can promote to a queen, but in the end our king is on b3, they have a queen on a1, their king is on b1, queen c2 would be mating. In the end, two queens on the board, but we have our queen on c2 delivering mate. Black can give a check, and that's maybe what the computer would do at that point when our king is on b3 and we have just promoted. Maybe they'll promote to a knight with check, but that's no big issue. We'll just move the king out of the way and it'll be mate soon thereafter. That must be what it is. Bishop a1. That is correct. And king c2. Very important. He goes there. And we push through. We take the pawn. We get a queen. And I'm guessing, again, they're going to get a knight? No. They just allow queen c2 for mate. Okay. 2 out of 3. I definitely need some help on puzzle number 2, so any insight you can offer on that one would be appreciated. The first puzzle was awesome. Let me know if you guys got that one. That was pretty cool. Sacking the knight, sacking the queen, and then with just a bishop on board versus a queen and rook. That was a very cool mate. I like that one. Okay, well, as usual, feel free to let me know how you did with these 3 in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.